Hi there YouTube, ACDodd here. Welcome to another ACDodd Inspex. And this time, we got ourselves a clutch backplate. Let's get into it. Okay, so what we have here is a very nice looking clutch backplate. There's nothing special about this. It's a completely standard 22A 598 plate. It's been remachined, and for all intents and purposes, it looks exactly like it's ready for service. However, that's where you would be wrong, because as I keep saying, just because something looks new doesn't mean to say it's right. So what we've got here is someone has had their clutch backplate refaced, which is the right thing to be doing on a clutch. The only problem is has it been refaced properly? And what I mean by that is when you reface this surface, okay, what you're looking for is that should be machined parallel with the rest of the casting, and it should also have the horn heights machined parallel, and the horn heights also need to be the correct height. So this has been passed to me by Thomas Classic and Modern, because Ross over at Thomas Classic and Modern sends me all his clutches to set up. So he's fully aware that just putting things on that look good generally can be problematic. So he's done the right thing and sent me this particular one to build as part of a clutch. Now, the problem we've got here is it looks great. So somebody would go, okay, well, we can use that. Well, unfortunately, it's not fit for use, and here's why. So if we take a reading of horn height, and for argument's sake we'll just do it from the top of the horn, and we'll have a quick look at that reading. Now that is 994 and a few tenths. Okay, so let's go round to the next horn. And measure that one. Oh, look at that. That's nearly 5 thou bigger. And that's 995 and a few tenths. So the point is, these heights are not even. So that surface has been machined without reference to the top of those, and that's a problem, because when you bolt this onto the clutch, this is the reference point that you go from, and this surface should be parallel to the top of these surfaces, so when the clutch pulls together it sandwiches everything and keeps it all nice and flat, because the spring diaphragm will pull that down evenly. Now if this is at an angle, okay, that's not going to perfectly sandwich that friction disc and get maximum grip. I know we're only talking, you know, 4 or 5 thousandths of an inch, but the point is the rot's already in, and that's not a good start. The next thing is that horn height actually makes the clutch worse and increases the load on the crankshaft thrust washers. Okay, so when you're setting these up, not only do they need to be machined parallel with that face, okay, but they also need to be machined so they give the right height. Now I set mine up so the diaphragm's flat. Some people don't agree with that, but that's up to them. That's the way I build mine. So typically for a normal sort of clutch, you're going to need to machine nearly 50 thousandths of an inch off there, depending on the exact height of the clutch and the diaphragm and everything you use. But the point I'm trying to say is this is not even fit for a standard clutch. Now the other thing is, how do we know that the rest of that clutch has been machined flat? All right, and what I mean by that is this face parallel with the back? Because in reality what should have happened is that when you set this up on the lathe, you should clock off that back face so that runs true. Then you should machine the horns and the friction disc so everything runs together. So when you bolt that up, the back face doesn't oscillate and it goes round true and stays in balance. Having checked that, that thickness on the back varies by about 0.003 of an inch. So again, not a lot, but someone has machined that without any reference to the original balance, the smooth operation of the clutch, how much load is put on the thrust washers, and the ability of the clutch to actually grip. Okay, so that's the reason why I wanted to raise that with you, and that's the reason why I featured that on ACDodd Inspex. So my next job is to put it on the lathe and correct it all. Okay, so I've just been over to the lathe. You can see I've machined that because it's got a much better finish on it. So what have we got now? Well, as you can see, I've machined the friction surface to clean that up. I've also machined the horn heights to the height I need. And also, it's now reasonably parallel. So we'll have a quick check and see what the figures are. That one, 931. $932. And just under 932. So we've got about a thou variation, and that's much better than the 4 to 5 that we had on it. And that's my point, is if you're going to machine these, machine them back to being as flat and as parallel as you can make it, because your end product will run smoother, better, and last longer. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that and learnt something about it. Basically, when it comes down to people when machining things, just always check what's been machined for you. You're paying for it. It's up to you to check to make sure the work you've asked for has been done. Anyway, as ever, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.